Yes, that's right. We are back again with another episode of Beyond the Curtain Wrestling Podcast. We've got, of course, the guest, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Jam, James Beatley, host of Takin the Bump podcast. As always, I have to ask, how the hell are you doing?
I'm good. Good episode of Dynamite this week. Let's get diving in on it.
Absolutely. On the heels of Double or Nothing, which I've heard did it very well by Ray, which I don't doubt. AEW puts on great shows and people want to see it. Kick off the show this week, we've got Private Party and Joey Janela versus the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy. Before the match, there's a little bit of a promo where the Young Bucks were asking what kind of mat they wanted, and they had the newest Damascus broken Matt Hardy. They've had, I think, a little bit older version of Matt Hardy, and then they had this Spot Monkey version of Matt Hardy, and they went out and they definitely did what a lot of people bitch and moan and complained about wrestling-wise, the spot matches where high spots, flips, all that, between Private Party and the Young Bucks doing all that, Janela and Hardy kind of doing their own thing. That was a pretty good match to kick off the show. Notice a little bit of differences going on with the setup tonight. There's a bunch of HBO Max sponsorships going on. Ring posts are purple for that. The turnbuckles have the HBO Max logos on them. The announcer's desk got the HBO Max logo on the front of it, and then the barricade had HBO Max on it. So nothing but HBO Max tonight, evidently. Of course, there are no commercials aired all over the place tonight on TNT. So, but I thought the promo was funny. I thought the match was pretty good. Hopefully, I believe it was Isaiah Cassidy that looked like he got hurt, or Mark Quinn. It was Mark Quinn. Hopefully they're all right. Hopefully it's not another knee injury. God forbid, we have enough injuries as is in the past week with AEW. Hopefully it's not a serious one. He'll be all right. Good high-flying opening match. Like I said, a lot of people are going to moan and complain. Oh, I hate the spot monkey matches. I hate these high spots. Whatever. Wrestling's got different flavors, and not everything you're going to like, but I liked it. After the match is where the good stuff happens. Butcher and Blade run in, jump the Young Bucks, kind of odd how they did that, but they did that. And then we cut to a scene of two men in a black old pickup truck. And they get out. And it's none other. Formerly known as the Revival, the Revolt. Apparently they've got a new name, FTR, called...
I believe they have a t-shirt out. I think it's Fuck the Rest. I don't know if that's what they're going by. I think they're just calling them FTR.
Mr. Wheeler, Mr. Harwood. Welcome to All Elite Wrestling. Making their debut tonight. We thought they were going to jump the Young Bucks. Ended up turning on Butcher and the Blade, which, in my opinion, I think that they're doing that as a sign to say, no, we're taking out the Young Bucks, not you guys. Not any tag team in AEW. We're going after them because we've had this build-up for years of FTR, Free the Revival, F the Revival, between Cody and the Young Bucks, and the shots back and forth on Twitter, and the pictures that both would post about, you're going to remember this tweet one day and we're going to have a match. And I think we're all on the road to seeing that. Hopefully not so soon like Fyter Fest. Like I didn't want to see Archer and Cody at Double or Nothing. Maybe they can draw that out to where it happens at All Out, but yet to be seen. But exciting stuff, kicking off the show with a bang. My goodness. How do you even thought process that of a first segment?
It was, I don't know, the match itself was a pretty decent. It was a good opener. A different version of Matt Hardy than you come to expect over the last couple of years. He did some acrobatic moves that you haven't seen him do in quite a while.
A moonsault. I haven't seen Matt Hardy do a moonsault in a while.
And then with the whole Revolt debut, I think that might have been one of the latest moments of shock, like the most shocked I've been in quite a while for a debut. Not that I didn't know that they were going to AEW. It was basically, once they got their release from WWE, everybody knew where they were headed. But there wasn't any signs of them showing up. And I don't know if that was on purpose or they just picked this moment for it to happen. I don't know if it was incidental, but it felt like it felt like a shock move. Like no one really expected it to happen. They did. I can't remember which one it was. Someone put like 20 some odd years ago today. Scott Hall showed up in WCW, and one of them commented on it and said, "Hey yo," kind of dropping a hint that they're going to show up tonight. So I mean, it was. I don't know. I had goosebumps for like 15 minutes after their segment.
Me and you both were like having our jaws dropped the whole time. It was amazing.
It was one of those things that you knew was bound to happen soon, but you didn't expect it as quickly as it happened. So I think it sucks that they're in a time when you can't have a full crowd. You can only have, AEW and WWE both are kind of playing it safe in terms of crowd. Because the reaction they would have gotten with the live crowd would have been probably one of the best we've ever witnessed in AEW. Same with Brody, same with Archer. Just kind of sucks that their debuts were kind of spoiled due to the whole thing. But again, in the name of safety, everything has to kind of change. But the show must go on. And I like the debut. I kind of like the paradigm that they're setting up, that they're going to protect the Young Bucks until it's time for them to fight. They want to make sure the Young Bucks are at 100%, and they put on the match that we all know they are capable of. And I am really ecstatic to finally be able to say that one day soon we'll see the Young Bucks fight the Revolt.
Yeah, and that's going to be an amazing match, as we all know. We can probably see these guys wrestle a lot in AEW, so it's going to be good. Next up, I wrote down was Brian Cage versus Lee Johnson. It's Cage's debut on Dynamite. Jon Moxley, the world champion, sat it beside JR, Shivani, and Excalibur for commentary for the 2 minutes that Cage had a match against Lee Johnson in a squash. It seems like all these big guys are getting the squash matches to kind of build them up and make them look good. Hopefully, I don't like them getting built up and then just torn down like that, with the way Archer and Brody Lee did. But hey, it is what it is. But of course, Cage wins. He gets a quick win. Taz gets on the mic and basically starts building up his and Moxley's, or Cage's and Moxley's title match at Fyter Fest, which we heard we were supposed to get details on the location, kind of when, date-wise, haven't gotten that. But supposed to happen sometime this summer between Cage and Moxley for the AEW World Championship. It's going to be a good one, I think. It's going to be a good match. The build-up very early, I think it's going to help it, make it that good. Taz on the mic is flawless. Taz in general is amazing. So anything he's going to do with Brian Cage, I think, is going to be good. So looking forward to where this goes for sure.
Yeah, it was a quick but good segment to kind of set up Brian Cage, make his Dynamite debut. In our Fantasy League group chat, there was someone asked earlier this afternoon that who was going to be the first victim of Brian Cage, and someone said it's going to be Marco Stunt, and I put it's probably going to be Lee Johnson or Musa, and I was right. It's Lee Johnson, and he got the shit beat out of him. It was real quick. I don't think you had time to even write down Brian Cage's name on your paper.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I mean,
and match was over. I kind of like that Taz is letting Brian Cage kind of use some of his monikers that he built. I think they did. He's saying the Path of Cage. I think Taz used Path of Taz, right, or something around that. And then during Taz's promo, he used one of his catchphrases that he used when he was actually wrestling. So it's cool that Taz is bringing that and allowing Cage to use some of his stuff. And I wonder where this leads. Obviously, you're kind of probably thinking maybe something with Darby Allin down the line. Maybe in the build-up to his match with Moxley, we'll see them fight. especially not knowing exactly when Fyter Fest is. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with Taz and Cage up until then, because this is going to be one of them things where they're going to build up, but they're never going to touch each other until the match. So you're going to have Moxley fight other people. You're going to have Cage fight other people up until whenever Fyter Fest is. So a short little feud with Darby I wouldn't be against it, as long as Brian Cage keeps his momentum at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, not a lot you can say from a match-wise perspective. It was decent showing from Brian Cage. Just, I don't know. It's weird seeing him in Impact Ring a couple months ago and now in AEW. He's still wearing his Impact gear, so.
Pandemic's going on. Not everybody's making gear, I guess.
Right.
But I think this is. I have a different vibe and feeling with him that I saw with Archer and Brody Lee. These big men that came and made an impact, no pun intended, and started just whooping ass and just doing everything that we expected him to see. Him having his kind of like an Archer, having somebody else talk for him may not be a bad thing. Taz, I think, is one of the perfect guys to have somebody manage somebody just because of his expertise in the business and how well he can talk. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think Cage is going to be a huge staple in AEW for quite a while, as long as he's got a long-term deal. And, I think the fans are going to enjoy him more than I think maybe they've seen Archer or Brody Lee. So from there, we go to Britt Baker, the role model, who came out in a wheelchair with Revolt, with her. The fact that the wheelchair said role model, get it? Wheelchair, role model.
Yeah.
It's great.
Good dad joke.
Thank you. I thought this was fun. It had Tony Schiavone. It seemed like there's a little bit of a mistiming on some of these things, but it made it feel more real. Every AEW's got its imperfections. Any company has their imperfections, and even though we've kind of bashed WWE or whatever, AEW's not perfect. They got their imperfections as well. But it seemed like there was a little bit of a mistiming thing, but it felt more real, felt more live, felt like, okay, hey, just roll the punches. Let's see what happens. She had her rules of being a role model skit with Reba there. Basically just saying this was a whole conspiracy against her ever since she came into AEW. Interesting, she had a little web of evil conspirators against Britt, with Sheeta, with Chris Statlander, with Nyla Rose, and somehow or another this all revolved around Aubrey Edwards, saying that Aubrey was there for her concussion and the knee injury, but was somewhere with a broken nose. It was kind of funny. But she said that she'll be cleared and be ready to go by All Out, which is September the 5th, AEW's next big pay-per-view. So thank goodness it's not a serious injury that was going to keep her out for the rest of the year. But I like to see where these skits go. She's getting better and better on the mic, and she's improvising more. If something doesn't go right, she doesn't like sulk her down and be like, oh, she just kind of continues on with it. So I was excited to see that, and I think that she did a good job.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was necessarily mistiming on accident. I think that might have been the purpose of the skit. But they're doing exactly what they should do with Britt while she heals from her injury, and that's put her on the mic. Because when she first started this heel gimmick, I was not impressed with her mic work, but she has really worked on it and really become probably one of the best women talkers in the entire division. And she can really continue to build her character without even stepping foot in the ring until she heals. So I like the fact that they're keeping her on TV. They're still having something for her. And it's kind of a cool mystery type thing. And I'm sure somehow in another, Aubrey Edwards will confront Britt or something. I don't know. We'll see it down the line how they work this story out. It was a weird segment. The flow of it definitely wasn't like it was a scripted thing. But I think that's what's so cool with AEW is it doesn't. It seems like they're actually communicating instead of acting. So that was cool. The whole Shivani thing with Britt is kind of like this creepiness, like what the hell's going on, but at the same time you're intrigued in what's going on with that. And the Rebel makeup artist gimmick thing, I don't know if I really buy that yet. That's kind of one piece that I'm kind of iffy on still, but hey, I mean, you have plenty of time until All Out to convince me, I guess, otherwise. But it, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It was decent. I mean,
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting because they promoted it as Britt was going to talk about her injury. Didn't expect the skit, but I liked what it showed. It definitely ebbed and flowed a little differently than normal, but I liked it. It was raw, it was real, it felt live, so
Yeah.
it was good.
Right back, we get a women's segment right after that, which was a match between Christy James, who is from Brazil, born in Brazil but lives in Texas, against Hikaru Shida in a non-title match. It's a nice match. Good resilience is shown from Christy, but ultimately Shida gets the win. Doesn't really serve a purpose here besides just showcasing Shida, how well she can be as a champion and be on the show almost every week. I'm not sure there's really much to say about that. With that, it was just a decent match, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
After that, Cody came out and did his promo, trying to bring everyone together, saying this is the pandemic era of wrestling, and he wants to defend the title every week since it is a TNT championship, thereby basically a television championship. He wants to defend it every week and sent out like an ultimate or an open challenge format, which I've been saying on this show for weeks that Cody reminds me of the John Cena of AEW. There's your example. If you ever need another one, that is the one, because Cena had the U.S. Open Challenge for about a year. Here's Cody's Open Challenge. So the ultimate babyface here, the ultimate, I want to defend the title every week. I'm a fighting champion. I want to cater to the fans. I want to cater to everybody.
Right.
Can't get more bluntly made than that.
Right.
Not that I hated it. It just reminds me of Cena, and I'm just, I don't know. He's so good of a babyface, you don't like him, in my opinion. Not everybody's opinion, but it was a good promo, though, and served its purpose. So it's going to be interesting to see that every week until he, I guess, loses it.
Yeah, so first, let me just briefly mention, Shida is so talented, and I think her versatility in the ring, she has a talent well beyond the amount of years that she's been in the ring. But then going on to Cody, you weren't the biggest Cena fan, but I was. I loved John Cena and his heel thing. I don't know, it's just Cena, growing up in the Cena era, you either hated him, and you were a CM Punk fan, so you hated him, and I was a John Cena fan, so I loved him. And I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing that Cody is portraying himself as his ultimate babyface. His promo game is really good. Like, you have to almost believe every word he says, even if he's bullshitting you. Like, if he says something, it's important. And who doesn't like a good open challenge? I do hope, though, that the result of this ultimately is you put over a new star, or build other stars in the making. Where unlike with Cena's open challenge, a lot of times it felt like Cena was burying the younger talent, or beating them really quickly and not really portraying what they could do in the ring. I believe Cody, even if he wins every week, will be able to put over newer talent or maybe less experienced talent, and then hopefully we get our share of debuts coming soon. Maybe someone like a Rusev or something that signs, and then as we go through the summer, they can use this title as a way to make their debut. I don't think any of those guys can wrestle until the end of, or the middle of July, though. So who knows? Maybe Cody keeps the belt for 2 months. Again, I like an open challenge. It adds mystique. It adds character to the belt. You have to say that run of year where John Cena did the open challenge, people actually fucking gave a shit about the U.S. belt, whereas now nobody really cares about it. It's just kind of like a belt. Just like The Miz with the IC title, he made it kind of relevant again, and nowadays it really isn't as relevant as it was. So you got to build some sort of legacy with this belt, so it's cool to start early. And I like the fact that Cody wants to defend it every week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. On Dynamite every week, we're going to get a title match, and it's supposed to mean something, make the title relevant. Maybe that should be a rule with the titles. You have to defend it every week on TV and at pay-per-view. So it'll be interesting to see how this all puts together.
Right, and I don't know if you have to defend it every week.
Maybe not, but
right. I would
a lot.
I would at least establish, like, hey, if you don't defend the title in a certain amount of time,
you get stripped of it.
You get stripped of it. And, like, actually enforce it. You know, like WWE has their apparent, like, 30-day thing that they never use it.
Nobody does. So. Yeah, no, that'd be a good idea for sure, though. Hopefully something like that happens. We'll see.
Right.
Next up, we got SCU versus Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. The winner of this match gets a number one contendership for the AEW Tag Team Championships next week. The winner of that faces Best Friends at Fyter Fest. So there's a little bit of confusion going on with the number one contendership since we had one at Double or Nothing. Why are we getting one now?
Right.
But it was a good tag match. I was not expecting the result to be what it was. But basically, Penelope Ford interferes at the very end of the match, and Havoc and Sabian get the win. So they will be facing off against Hangman Page and Kenny Omega next week on Dynamite for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Good match, interesting finish. I wasn't expecting that, but
right.
Kind of makes sense with the heel versus face type of thing. But that doesn't always apply sometimes.
Right.
But this is a good one. I was okay with that.
Right. I don't know how I feel about Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. As a tag team, the dynamic is kind of off to me. I mean, I know they're both Brits, but their styles kind of clash a little bit. Styles clash, get it?
I got jokes.
Yeah, their styles kind of clash, and I don't know. It's interesting, the dynamic. It would just be weird, though, to have them beat Hangman and Omega, because they seem to be, I think they're 6-0 in tag team competition this year.
Yep.
So to have them lose to such an underdog, especially if Penelope Ford's gonna interfere in some way, it would kind of like. I mean, I guess it would kind of bring around a heel turn or a face turn from somebody. I don't know how you would make that work, and it would kind of diminish what Omega and Hangman have built as a tag team. And quite honestly, I'm not ready for them to drop the belts. I enjoy Hangman every week. I enjoy Omega every week. Omega's my favorite wrestler currently. So as much as I would like to see them go their separate routes and go singles again, they're a good tag team. I enjoy watching them. But I guess we'll see next week to see if they can pull up that
Absolutely
very big upset.
Upset it would be, for sure. Next up, we got the Battle Royal. The winner of this faces Cody for the TNT Championship next week, the first challenger for that TNT Championship. In this match, you had Colt Cabana, Luchasaurus, Luther, Jungle Boy, Billy Gunn, MJF, Wardlow, Sonny Kiss, Marco Stunt, Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, and Orange Cassidy. He got jumped from Santana and Ortiz at the beginning of the match because he interfered in their promo a lot early in the night. Get down to it. Final four was Orange Cassidy came back at the end of the match. Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, Wardlow, and MJF. MJF got eliminated first, and then Jungle Boy and Orange Cassidy threw out Wardlow, leading to them two having a nice little scuffle for about a minute or two. And in the end, a nice little Hurricane Rana from the inside to the outside over the top rope eliminates Orange Cassidy. And Jungle Boy wins the over-the-top rope battle royal. So he will be facing Cody next week on Dynamite for the TNT Championship. And the first title defense in that title's history. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a good match. Jungle Boy, like I said, this is a face versus face type of thing. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I think it's going to be a really heck of a match. Don't expect Cody to lose so early, but Hey, you never know. And either way, I think it's going to be a good showing and a good match, and create more relevancy for the title for sure.
Yeah, I didn't expect Jungle Boy to win this. We saw that in the MJF promo with Wardlow, kind of their disdain after MJF basically said, me and Wardlow are going to be the final two, and Wardlow's going to eliminate himself. You kind of figured both of them were going to lose. My thought was, honestly, you could have used somebody like Luchasaurus or, I don't know. I mean, there really wasn't a lot of people in this match that you could market as fighting for a title match, which I guess is cool that they're actually using all their stars. They had their moments in this match. I think the funniest part was when Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler eliminated themselves during commercial in a spot that doesn't make really any sense. I guess it's part of their gimmick that they both would never lose. Just add Brian Myers to that mix, and you can have a three-way for who wants to lose the most matches in AEW.
Triple count out.
And then for a minute there, they almost had me believing Orange Cassidy could have won the damn thing. I wonder if it sets up something with MJF and Orange Cassidy down the line. Obviously, it's going to build towards Wardlow or MJF turning on each other. I think that's kind of a big story that they kind of threw out there a little bit. But can we see Orange Cassidy beat MJF just one time? Please. I think that would be great.
You're putting too much into it. But hey, hey, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You never know with this company. It can shock us. Main eventing is the Inner Circle pep rally, trying to gather the troops after their loss in the Stadium Stampede match at Double or Nothing. You had the Inner Circle cheerleaders leading as they came out of the tunnel, with Vicky Guerrero introducing each member of the Inner Circle, which was funny. They had all sorts of presents for each other. Every member had like a present for each other. Hager had a poem that was funny as hell. It got personal, and then basically Jericho and I was like, "Hey, you're going too far. You're going too far." And he was just like, "The end," and it made me laugh hysterically. Jericho wanted Tyson's head on the platter. He didn't forget what happened to him on a January 11th, 2010 edition of Raw, where Tyson punched him out, and basically that led Tyson and his entourage, who looked like a bunch of freaks, come out to the ring. And just led to a nice little shoving stare down match at the end of the show, a schmoz, as you will. This eerily, and especially JR had a line that eerily similar to the Austin Tyson thing from 98, where he was like, Tyson wants Austin and Austin wants Tyson. He said the same thing tonight, where he said Jericho wants Tyson, Tyson wants Jericho, type of thing. And it's like, all right, you're kind of reduplicating here from 98, but what's old is new again, and I didn't hate it. It was okay. It's a good way to get publicity. Publicity. There you go. It's a good way to get the media into your product and your company, to get more eyes on it, and that's never a bad thing. Just as long as it's not too cheesy and too corny and too bad, it should be fine. It should be fun to see what kind of happens after this. So, interested to see with it. A good ending to the show, good show overall, I thought. And next week seems to be a really good show again. So, good show tonight for sure.
Yeah, it was a good final segment. Again, your main event doesn't necessarily have to be a 30-minute battle royal or a 30-minute Iron Man match. It doesn't have to be super technical. I think this ending of the show is great. It's kind of funny that this whole feud is based off something that from a rival company from 10 years ago.
Yep.
And that's what they're building on. I was waiting for Tyson to slip up and mention WWE in his when he was talking in his goofy ass accent. I believe some of his entourage were other ex UFC or boxing fighters, but I didn't recognize any of them. Mike Tyson, he's pulling a triple threat. He's returning to boxing, or announcing that he wants to return to boxing, says he wants to fight Tyson Fury, and now returning to professional wrestling all at the same time at the age of 55 years old. Say what you want. I mean, I'm sure the WWE marks would be like, oh, AEW would shit on this if it was in the WWE. I don't know. I don't think this is for anything super serious, though. It's not for a title, unlike Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. It's not for the title, unlike Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar. It's not for the title, unlike Tyson Fury and Brock Lesnar. So it's just something fun that you can put at like maybe a 10-minute match if they want to put it on somewhere in the middle of a pay-per-view card. And I don't know. It's just something.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Gets more eyes on the product, never a bad thing.
And so I think it's a good way to market your product. And I don't know. It's cool because I wasn't a big fan of WCW when Tyson was. Well, he was WCW, right?
Yeah, WWE.
WWE.
Sure.
Well, everybody was everywhere in the 90s.
Sure, makes sense.
I wasn't a big fan of professional wrestling. I don't even know if I was like cognitive when Tyson was in WWE in the 90s. So it's cool to kind of witness a renaissance of him in wrestling again. But shoot, I don't know. It's not going to be like for a world title match. So I'm cool with this feud. I'm cool with the Inner Circle kind of pulling off a little bit of a gimmicky type thing. Wrestling does, unlike Jim Cornette, wrestling doesn't have to be serious all the time. By the way, he's blocked me on everything, so it's cool.
I'm sure he's done the same to me. I mean, wrestling's got different flavors, and it's your poison to not poison. It's your choice to pick which one you think is best for you. And if you don't like any of that stuff, great. Hey, no problem. Some people like it, some people don't. I think you got to have a little bit of mix of everything in a show to make it, because it is entertainment at the very end. And while I love wrestling, I love a good technical wrestling match.
Right.
Because some of the goofy stuff here and there is not too bad for me. So it's got to come full circle, in my opinion.
And some of the goofy stuff AEW has done, they've done it so well that it's kind of too goofy that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it makes you laugh. Whereas the goofy stuff in WWE that they've done recently is like too goofy that it's so bad that you can't even watch it.
Yeah. So, hey, kudos to that. Our thumbs up time. What do you grade Dynamite? I give it a good. I'm gonna give it a 2 thumbs up. I'm gonna go 2.
I'm gonna go 1.5.
That was a very good show off the heels of Double or Nothing. I thought they did a good job with it. So next week's gonna be exciting. 2 title matches. Jericho's gonna be on the card as well. So it's gonna see how this all follows up, and we keep going with it. It's gonna be fun heading into the summer.
You posted that poll, right?
Absolutely, I did. On the old Twitter machine. It was only a 15-minute poll, and I got 48 votes, which I know is not a whole lot to you guys, but it was only 4 away from my record, so I appreciate you guys doing that. It was, of course, the same one. What y'all think of Dynamite tonight? Did you guys enjoy it? Didn't enjoy it? Did you didn't watch it? Or did you watch NXT? And 88% of you, a rousing majority of you, said you enjoyed it. 4% didn't enjoy it. 2% didn't even watch it, but 6% said they watched NXT. So if you guys see that, comment, why did you like it? Why didn't you like it? Why didn't you watch it? Or why'd you watch NXT? So appreciate you guys doing that for sure. And, of course, there's always polls every Wednesday and every pay-per-view to kind of get you guys' thoughts on that. And appreciate the followers on Twitter as well. We're well over that 550 follower there, 562 as of this recording. You guys are kicking it, man. You guys are doing great. And, of course, I'm trying to follow back everybody that follows me. So appreciate you guys doing that. With that being said, we can kind of head on into the old social media plug. I hate that we missed the Memorial Day sale ended, but that's okay. There'll be more coming around, so don't fret at that. I'm sure there'll be a July 4th Day sale.
Right.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, so go ahead and give my podcast, the Takin the Bump podcast, a follow on Facebook. You can search Takin the Bump podcast or type in facebook.com/TheB podcast. On Twitter, just look up @TheB podcast. And on Pro Wrestling Tees, you can buy the official logo shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/TheB podcast. No sales, but hey, it's like $19.99, so can't beat that price.
Yeah, if only, right? Of course, you guys can follow us on Facebook at Beyond the Curtain Podcast, on Twitter at BtheC Pod 18. Pro Wrestling Tee Store, ProWrestlingTees.com/Beyond the Curtain Wrestling Podcast. And of course, you guys are watching this on YouTube or listening to it. So of course, you need to make sure that you subscribe to the channel, Beyond the Curtain Wrestling Podcast. Hit that notification bell so you know each and every time we post a video or go live. You never know if we surprise you and do that. Of course, more content. We're trying to get some more content coming up here instead of just all these reviews and preview shows. So we're kind of spin up the wheels with that, and hopefully new content will be coming out soon. Like the video, share it with your friends and family, share with other wrestling groups and pages all over the place on social media. Comment your feedback, guys. It's crucial to me. What did you like? What didn't you like? Did you hate my voice? Hate his voice? Do you love our voices? Listen, anything at this time, it's great.
You ain't gonna hate my voice.
What do you think? Of the shows for AEW. What would you like to see us do? Not do? All that stuff, guys. Feedback is very important to the way that we grow and just become better. So that way you guys will watch us more, listen to us more, subscribe to our channels, and all that good stuff. So, but with that being said, another good show for Dynamite, another good way to kick off the summer and coming off the heels of a pay-per-view as we lean in toward the summer months. Hopefully, better product is on the way, which is hard to say because it's already good enough.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week on Beyond the Curtain. Stay safe out there. Stay healthy. Of course, we're going to get through this all together, but of course, we all have to do all our part. So continue to do your part, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next week.